Dear Father God, may we be able to sense your presence in every moment of the day. May we remember to feel that constant flow of love from your heart to ours at all times. When we feel ourselves being drawn to the times of frustration and difficulty, may we also feel the companion of your love within all of this co-creation. We ask for your connection, your love, and your patience. Amen. Amen. The next thing is the reading from the pastor or co-pastor. Ronnie and I were talking when we got here this morning. He said, "How you doing?" I said, "On my last nerve." He said, "That's funny, so am I." For different reasons, of course, but one of the last couple of days, like I said, I went out and put a battery in my son's car this morning. Me and my brothers are real mechanically inclined. One of them rebuilds engines for a living, and I put my first car together out of pieces, and my son can't touch a wrench to save his life. Just the way he is. And, other things have gone on, just pushing me further and further to a point of frustration with things that were going on around me. Which is why during the opening prayer I spoke about feeling God's presence running in cooperation with these life's challenges. Because we're not going to avoid being frustrated by life's conditions. If you think you are, you have to be out of your body and dead before you stop being affected by circumstances and people around you. What we learn, or what I learn as a spiritual person, is to believe that God is there as well as the frustration. So if I can't focus exclusively on God's love, I remind myself that it is there in the situation. And just reminding myself that it is there lessens the severity of what's going on. It puts my mind at least partially on God's purpose for the event that I'm in, even if my human mind cannot grasp what that purpose is, and is acting as a human mind will, being frustrated, frightened, whatever the case is, with what's in front of you. So I would ask that feel that presence of God co-creating along with the frustration, because God does not create frustration. Our mind creates frustration. So just take a moment, remember, have the faith that God is there in that time, and you will find a lessening of the severity of the circumstances in front of you. It's not going to wipe them away. You're not going to see this blinding flash of light as a general rule and become enlightened about the situation, but you will feel a backing off of your breathing, a lessening of the intensity of your frustration, which is usually quite helpful when you're right on the edge of your last nerve. And I always remember this one joke that I told before here. It's about these gospel singers that go around all over the South singing, and they're such good gospel singers that the congregations feel like they're being lifted up to heaven during the harmonies. The other thing about these gospel singers is they're blind, and they take these seeing-eyed dogs with them everywhere. And they got to this one backwoods chapel, and the pastor of the chapel was asking the lead of the head of the singers what they were going to do with those dogs during the service. He said, "They're going to sit right down there in front of the podium." The pastor says, "Right down there in front of the podium?" He says, "Yes, sir." He says, "You're not worried about them dogs misbehaving?" And the head gospel singer said, "Let me tell you something, Pastor. You tell your congregation something on Sunday, and by Monday they forgot. Those dogs, I tell them something, they never forget." The pastor says, "Really?" He says, "You count on it. Those dogs never forget when I tell them something." Okay. So the evening service comes, and they start singing, and the congregation is being lifted up to heaven. And somebody left the back door of the church, hat cocked open a little bit. In comes a tabby cat walking down. Just listening to all the singing. Halfway down that aisle, them dogs caught sight of that cat. You know what they did? They forgot. And that's like us. When we get caught up in our emotions and our instincts, we forget sometimes. But we have the ability to go back and remember. So I thank you.
What are we going to sing? What are we going to sing?
Number 2. Patience. Wow. And there is none like you, and no one else can touch my heart like you do. I could search for all eternity long and find there is none like you. There is none like you, Lord. No one else can touch my heart like you do. I can search for all eternity long and find there is none like you. It's all you. There is none like you. No one else can touch my heart like you do. I can search for all eternity long and find there is none like you. There is none like you. No one else can touch my heart like you do. I can search for all eternity long and find there is none like you. There is none like you.
Please be seated. The next portion of the service is the inspirational lecture. Today, Dr. James Thomas will be our lecturer for the day. He's the founder of the IAM organization, which this church is a branch of. He started his career in California in 1960 as a chiropractor to the stars. He went on to establish some of the first metaphysical and spiritual organizations outside the Orthodox groups in California in that era. He has explored a number of religions, Christian, Judaism, self-realization, and spiritualism, and he brings to us today his wealth of knowledge. He's also been a personal friend of mine for 25 to 30 years. We used to...
We're getting old.
You're getting old.
We all started together in this little church on the backside of Sanford almost 30 years ago, I think it was. So please welcome Dr. James Thomas.
Thank you, Steve. I want to know where you got all that information, but that's okay.
Talk louder.
Huh?
Got a computer.
Can't they hear me?
Yeah, talk louder.
Talk louder?
Some of us don't have hearing aids. Aids.
Ah,
Yeah.
that's pretty good, isn't it?
Yeah.
This is a nice new sound system.
Nice suit too.
You get reverberated up here.
That's so you can hear what you're saying too.
Is that what it is?
Right.
Okay, we got that all under control. Happy Mother's Day to all those who are mothers and all my mothers that are in spirit. Mother's Day was conceived during a seance. Now, we believe in spiritualism. Steve is a really good spiritualist. I'm more of a metaphysician than he is. But this was all conceived in 1907 by Anna Jarvis in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, on the second Sunday in May. You wore a white carnation for mothers in spirit and a red or pink carnations for mothers that are alive. So this is really how one of our spiritual things happened to us in spiritualism, that it was formed by a spiritualist, by a mother, and that back in 1907. Speaking of mothers, I had a beautiful mother. She passed away in 1972. But before that, in 1986 or 87, a beautiful woman came into my life. And I was adjusting her, or her sister brought her to my office, and she had a web from here to here, a duck's web. And I worked on her on the table, and then when I brought her up off of the table and she turned around, she said, "Son," and I said, "Mom," at the same time. And she says, "I've been looking for you." And, okay, I've been looking for you. And then we got talking and everything else, and I was born to her in 1925 and died at birth. So in 1935, I was born in 35. So 1944, at a seance in Casadega, through a trumpet seance, came a picture of Saint Germain. I should have brought it with me. And she was told that she would find her son in a healing profession on the West Coast. So her sister, who was a patient of mine, would come back. She would come back and forth every year from Florida to California, back and forth until the day we finally met. And as soon as I met her, everything started to evolve. At that time, I was going to self-realization, and my spiritual doors were opening up to me more and more. And then, between that mother and my real mother, my mother that I consider really my spiritual mother, and then my sister, God bless her, my sister Betty, who, when I was growing up like this, I was 5 years old or 4 years old, and I think she thought she was my mother, but the whole thing there was that she decided because she was 16 years old, she would not push me down the street because they thought she would have had an illegitimate child. So that started our fight back and forth for so many years of my life. And what happened was is she was engaged to my brother-in-law, and everywhere we went, I was the chaperone. And I think my sister has told a few people in here about me being the chaperone when they were going together. So then, when I moved away and she had her children, all that stuff happened. And then I moved back here, and we became close again. And so it's been like the past 10 years that I have been like, she was like my mother. Go there for dinner, eat, eat, eat. Dessert, dessert. We got 3 kinds of dessert tonight. You got to have one of each. You know? So she became my mother. Now, here we go. Instead of a mother, I've got an adopted daughter and a granddaughter. But she acts like she's my mother. And if you all know Anne, she tries everything else to mother me. And then recently, Rose Ellen's been like a mother to me ever since I ordained her in 1992.
92.
Somebody said you said 72 the other day.
No.
And I said no. I said, I believe it was 1992.
You said that.
Huh? I did?
Yeah.
Oh, well. You know, when you get old, the head doesn't work.
No, it's
And now I have another mother. This is a real strange mother. This one here was bestowed upon me by Reverend Robert Johnstone. How many know Bob Johnstone? Okay? Dear Bob, I love him. But he invoked upon me Bridget, who Bridget is now my new mother. Even though I'm older than her, but she's my new mother because she's babying me. All right? Are you doing this? I have to call her every morning now to know that I'm all right, I'm alive, and I'm up walking. If I don't call her, she gets upset. So I feel more like Blythe is my mother. Everybody's my mother. It plays along the line of mothers. I don't know why I attract them all. Marty's my mother. Huh?
You're just born to be a son.
Born to be somebody, but it all boils down to, I really want to talk about Mother Earth. We have the Father, which is the Son. We have the Mother, which is the Earth. And for the past, I don't know, how many years has it been that we've been doing full moon meditation?
Long time.
A long time, isn't it? And people don't realize what the Ascended Masters and what all the Ascended Teachers have been saying to us. Clean up, clean up, clean up. Get our acts together. We're moving into a different area. We're moving into a different time. And if you have any children, grandchildren, or anything that are having new babies today, they're all rainbow children. They're here to preserve Mother Earth. They're here to take over and get Mother Earth back where it belongs. So all these diapers that everybody's been using for all these years for their children, it's going to take them 1,000,000 years to disintegrate, all right? So here we got our landfills all filled up, and Mother Earth is rebelling. Look around you, what is happening. Look around at the world. Look at the things, the disasters that keep happening. Mother Earth is rebelling. She comes out every week with one of the Ascended Masters saying, clean up, Mother Earth. Get rid of the plastic. Get rid of this. Get rid of that. Go natural. The more naturally we go, the better off we're going to be. Look at the things that we put into our systems. I didn't know until recently how people's chemical doctors work with them. And if you don't know who your chemical doctors are in that, or in your band of teachers and guides, but all of a sudden, your teachers or everybody's chemical doctor is coming through and saying what's wrong with people. And I was so surprised. Even what happened the last time I did message service at Casadega. Very strange. A woman comes in with this little dog, who's one of these here dogs that are supposed to be a helping dog. You know what they are? You know, they got special privileges.
Service dog.
You know, like a service dog. But it's a companion dog. It has a thing on its back, companion. All right? And when the dog came in, I reached down and petted the dog because he's a beautiful little dog. And the dog started talking to me. Well, that blew my mind. So he says, I'm not well. And I says, well, okay, what's wrong with you? So he was telling me. Well, then I got up, I forgot all about the dog, and about the 8th person in the audience, I go to the dog. The dog is beckoning me. I want a message. I want a message. So I go to the dog and I says, your master is feeding you table food. She's feeding you all this greasy food that's got you all upset, and you have to eat so much grass every day just to keep your digestive system straight. And the woman looks at me, her master, she says, that's correct. She says, all I do is feed it table food. And the dog wants his regular food. He keeps saying to me, I want my regular food. So I said, okay. A couple weeks later, I bring this, telling this woman about her dog. And I'm going bananas because I know, don't talk to animals. And she has a little, they're like bulldogs, but I forget what they're called, you know, black and white. And I said to her, I says, your dog has some sort of kidney infection. Your little dog, she has two dogs, little one. Okay. So the next day she takes it to the doctor. The dog has a kidney infection. I says, well, this is getting strange now. I must be either getting good talking to the animals or something's happening around me. So she says, I need an appointment. I want to bring your other dog. So she comes in the next time, a week later, with two dogs. This is a bigger one. They're brother and sister. He says, I'm jealous of that little... I can't say it. She says, she gets me into trouble all the time. He says, but I am so sick. He says, I can't eat. He says, I am sick. He says, my whole insides are burning. So I says, okay. So I tell her, I says, I think you better go see my nutritionist. So she did. She took the dogs over to Pat Sheedy in Lake Helen. And Pat came up with, the dog had parasites. The whole dog was a mess. It's going to take her about a month to get the dog's digestive system working again. And that. So, you know. So going back to nature, going back to everything that we can do. The more organic we become, the better off. Everything that we do in this lifetime reflects on us. All right? You don't feel good, there's something wrong with your system. Go find out what's causing it. When you get people that are not feeling good for 25 years and never, something's wrong with them, and they've been going to the doctors, and still can't get well. Start thinking about what you put into your system. Keep track of what you put into your system. And go back to natural things. That's all. And as soon as you do, things start developing faster and faster and faster. But pollution. I think at one point when I first went to California in 1960 to go to school, the pollution was so bad. And I worked in a medical records department. We were standing on ladders filing old records way up high. And that. You could not see the tops of anybody. All you could do was see from your knees down because the pollution was so bad, yellow. All right? LA's cleaned up its mess, but we need to clean up everything. From the cars, to our water. Our water is a disgrace. Dr. Emoto goes around blessing waters all over the world to get them to become pure again. So, you know, it's all part of our evolution. It's all part of what we go through. And we have to give thanks for our mothers. We really do. Because if it wasn't for our mothers, I wouldn't be here. Ronnie wouldn't be here. Steve wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be here. All the men wouldn't be here at all if we didn't have a mother, would we? So we got to give thanks to them. And we do always have to give thanks to Mother Earth. because Mother Earth is what's going to sustain this planet. I have a very close friend whose name is Brad Steiger. He's an author. He wrote Project Blue Book many years ago, which is banned from the United States. You can only get it from England. It talks about the UFOs and that. He also wrote a book on finding, well, we don't have a regular electric light, you know, that we turn on at home, a light, you know, a regular lamp, all right? Up in Massachusetts area, they found a dig, excavating in that. They found lamps that were over 1 million years old, just like we have lamps today. So what does that tell us? We've been here before. We kept going around and around and around and around until we learned the lessons. So it's all lessons that our soul is going through every day. All the deja vus that we have, you've been there before. All the people you come in contact with, you've been in their presence before. You don't realize how this here whole gamut works. We're like a bunch of grapes. And all of us have been together at one point or another. We could have had the same mothers in another lifetime. We could have had the same fathers. We could have been together, I don't know how many lifetimes. But we've all been together. At some point, I always knew when I first met Rennie that he was a brother of mine, someplace along the line. Steve, as he says, we've been together 30 years, and that's hard to believe. That he's put up with me and I put up with him, but it's okay. But as we grow spiritually, every day is a new day. Talked about his frustrations and everything else today. It's just a common thing. We have to become like a duck. Let it roll off our back and keep on trucking. That's all. It's what we do. We cannot allow anything to disrupt our energies. We had a wonderful seminar here a couple of weeks ago with David Hill, which was amazing. A fantastic man, fantastic person. And we carry all of these things in our spinal column. Every past life that we've had is all carried in our spinal column. So as things come up and we keep rerunning things, or things come up, why do we attract homeless people? Why do we attract an alcoholic? Why do we attract somebody that's a druggie? All right? It's our energies. Besides that, we probably were some sort of alcoholic in a lifetime, some sort of druggie, or something else. Who knows? But they come to us, and we help them, and then we release them. Because we're all like a mother. Even the men are like mothers because they've had to raise their own children. They've been mothers to their and fathers to their children. So all along this whole gamut, this whole pathway, it all has to do with Mother Earth. It all has to do with everything that we do. And I look around here, and I just said to Linda today, I said, don't take on being my mother. Because she writes me emails constantly. Say, I didn't get the email, I didn't get this, I didn't get that. So it's okay, I'll let you be my mother this week. But I'd rather have your own mother. No, not besides you. These are my other mothers. I'd rather have your mother than you, all right? Okay? She can mother me, along with Bridget. I'll let everybody mother me, it's okay. With that, I say God bless you, have a wonderful day, and have a happy Mother's Day. Thank you. And at the end, we'll pass these out, all right?